Today's episode is brought to you by Clorox. When it counts, trust Clorox the same way we trust essential workers to provide the care they give to us. Families trust Clorox to give them a safe and protected home.
Our community heroes trust Clorox to keep places like hospitals and grocery stores disinfected. So I know I too can trust Clorox to provide my home with a safe environment at home we can all enjoy. So I have a story for you, Amanda. With Clorox, there's one thing I definitely use it for every single time before I step into my vanity van. I love the entire place disinfected because that's where I keep my makeup. That's where I get ready. That's where my clothes are. That's sometimes where I take a nap as well. So, I can use it all over like time of need. So, it's been really, it just keeps everything super clean and I feel super safe.
For me, it's important to share with loved ones and the public in general how they can give the most care for their loved ones, especially during times like these. I mean, with the pandemic going on, with COVID going on, it's just great to be extra sanitary with all the items that are around you, caring for others, and, just wiping down the door handle after you use the bathroom or wiping down
so
the
important.
The toilet handle. Don't forget the toilet handle. So remember,
when it counts, trust Clorox.
Refresh your Sundays with Grace Notes. Artful. Come follow up. Family Rules. Hello Sunday. And Music and the Spoken Word. Seek, hear, feel. Sundays on BYU TV.
What is up, guys? I'm Dusty Grant, the host of the DG and Friends podcast. I'm excited to take this ride with you as I get to know interesting folks from all walks of life and pick their brains about their journey. I'd like to sincerely thank you for tuning in. DG and Friends starts now. What is up, everybody? It's like it feels like a Friday. It's not necessarily a Friday. It's a Wednesday. For me, it doesn't feel like a Friday. It just feels like a weird day because I have to work Friday. But you're off for the week, yeah?
I'm done, man.
You're done. So what's up, guys? My buddy Derek Releford's with me again for another happy hour hang. This is an impromptu sesh, but we got pretty good feedback on the last one, so we decided to do it again. And we were just bitching like...
Bro.
I know. You fill everybody in on this because I started hearing this story, but I figured let's go live and tell everybody what's going on.
Here's the thing. Either there is a global fucking conspiracy out to get me, or I smoke way too much weed. One of those two things. Don't know which one yet, but pretty pissed. Tried to buy weed and they're like, you can't buy weed today. Well, I could, but they wouldn't let me buy the amount of weed I was trying to buy. And the reason I was trying to buy a lot of weed is because it's 30% off today. I'm like, Hey, why not pick up some buds? And then next thing you know, they're like, well, you can pick up this many buds. I was like, no. The thing is I think it has to be a mistake. Although usually, like, I've never had this problem. You get like quite a bit, man. I think what it is my family, my mom and dad's side, some of them over there smoke, and they have their cards and everything. And we went over there a couple times. Usually we only go there like once every few weeks, but we went over there a couple times this last week.
Yeah.
And I think I just broke too much bud out, and I can't buy any more pot. Basically.
It's like it's like you live in
tomorrow.
It's like you live in a different country. To be honest with you, when you're talking about that, like the only thing I can compare that to is like they do that thing here with allergy medicine. So if you like, my allergies in Kansas are terrible. I get like all these inner ear infections and I get vertigo from it and all this other crap. But I'd have to take like Claritin D or Zyrtec D or whatever I switch it up. They say it helps. I don't feel like it does, but they will only let me buy 15 at a time.
Why? Because you can get like Liddy on it.
I don't know. Maybe they use it for meth or something. I don't actually know the whole reason behind it. But I can go buy a 175 of Jack Daniels and a 12 gauge. But I can't buy 2 packages of Claritin D just because I'm there. Like, how much sense does that make to you? Like, why are they limiting you? If for you, it's a medicinal type of use, correct? I mean, it helps you take the edge.
I'm doing it medicinally. Yeah, I think what they try to do is to prevent you from selling it. You know?
I gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense.
Which I don't sell it, you know, but if I'm with another card user, like it doesn't matter whose weed you smoke, you know. But like, I think I have a problem
with your use.
You would fucking freak out if you knew. My wife told me how much I spent on pot in 1 month. One time, it was like 3 months ago. It's usually not this bad, but it's a pretty bad problem.
So why not just back off? You know it's an issue.
Just one of those sloppy people that just like smokes weed all day.
I can't identify, but like that is a I don't know. I don't even know how to respond to that, to be honest with you. I honestly, is there doing too much? You know, it depends on what you're using it for and if it's helping you, or is it ruining your productivity? Is it ruining your life? Like what's the I mean, aside from the money that you're spending on it, which is also obviously a negative, but like
honestly,
what are the negative?
For the money, if it wasn't for the money, I don't feel like it's
excessive.
I don't know, man. Like all I know is that when I'm like not using cannabis, my obsessive compulsive disorder is pretty consuming, like to a institutionalized level. So I feel like I'm baked all the time, which I say I'm baked all the time. Like I just smoked an entire joint. I wouldn't get in a car and drive right now, but I would if I knew that was like no cops gonna get me or anything. Like I'm fine, you know. Like I can. Now, if I take like a big dab or two, then like, yeah, I'm kind of stoned. But like being a daily smoker, like I kind of treat cannabis like cigarettes. Plus, I buy really low potency marijuana, and that's what my biggest problem is. I think I buy the lowest potency marijuana because you can get a lot of it for cheap. So I know that I like the act of smoking.
Yeah, you like the act more
marijuana.
Than the effect.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll sit here at work and I'll smoke a joint while I'm working, and I'm not fucking like listening to Pink Floyd and a cosmic. I am literally feel like, okay, I just have like maybe a tiny bit of a buzz, but for the most part, I'm calm, I'm collected, I'm ready. It's basically how I look at it as like smoking cigarettes, because the weed I smoke is like probably around the 18 to 20% range as far as THC, which is not that good. You know, like most weed snobs would look at the weed I smoke and be like, that's disgusting, dude. But like I know I like to smoke large quantities of marijuana because I just enjoy the act of doing it. And I know that I can't be smoking like 30% weed while I'm working because I got shit to do, you know? So like, I think my problem with weed is it's totally, I think the effects of it are fine. I think it's about just like a smoking habit, you know, but it's just really expensive, and then I smoke too much, probably. Like, you know, but it's just like saying of like I smoke too many cigarettes. Like it's obviously like some kind of I'm doing this too much, you know,
something manic or something like that.
Yeah, just doing shit like this, and it's I'm manic basically, but you know, I live with that, you know. So I feel like when you're dealing with bipolar disorder, like you kind of just have to. You're never gonna fucking be all right, but you try to find like the least damaging thing to abuse.
Yeah, well, yeah, and I've got a couple. One friend in particular, and I'm not going to out them unless they wanted me to, but like they're the same way. They're like, I just have to find out how it works for me. You know, I just have to find out what path in life I have to take to accommodate this, because there's nothing I can do about it. I have to deal with it. And I just need to figure out the way that I can do that to be at least reckless. And to me, like it sounds like your thing is more like a cigarette addiction than like. Yeah. I wouldn't be concerned about the psychological effects. I'd be more concerned about just the act of smoking that much. But I mean, that's like smoking cigarettes. So I mean, what you're doing is perfectly legal. So like there's a stigma on it, but.
My dad has some, be like 18% marijuana. like if somebody has never smoked weed before and they smoked a few hits of 18% marijuana, they'd be pretty fucking high.
Yeah,
Somebody
I don't know.
who's a
I don't know
daily
the
smoker. It's not much, dude. Like if somebody was like a daily smoker and they were used to smoking like snobby weed, like shit that was like around 26-27%, like if they smoked my shit, dude, they probably wouldn't even smoke it. They'd be like, I'm good, man.
This
you know
is
what
trash.
I'm saying? Like pretty much, dude.
Rubbish.
And, like, my dad got some like 27% shit the other day, just because they were offering it on like a special, and it was, you know. And I smoked one bowl of that the other day when we were watching football, and I was baked, dude. I was like, whoa, man, like this is what weed does to you, you know? So like, I don't know. The side effects of cannabis that I feel like I don't like, one of them I don't really like, the overeating. I just eat stupid stuff. I don't eat all day.
But you're eating trash.
I just eat garbage, you know? I'm just like, whatever. And I do end up taking quite a few naps.
I mean, I envy people that can nap. I wish I could nap, you know? Like, I don't know how you're saying that's a negative thing. But Matt Baller is asking, which favorite weed movie? You want to go first or you want me to?
Go ahead.
Man, I would probably say Friday. Either Friday or Grandma's Boy. Yeah. Those movies both are, to me, like, Friday brings back so many memories, like even back in that age when I was dabbling in it and stuff like that, and you used to watch it and you're just like, at that time Chris Tucker was the shit, and it was just such a funny movie. So I think Friday, yeah, I would have to go with Friday. My wife's never seen Friday.
Whoa.
And she's like, what is it? I'm like, it's good. And she's like, what is it about? I'm like, it's Ice Cube and Chris Tucker just smoking weed on the front porch. And then she's like, that sounds dumb. I'm like, what?
You know what though, dude? It's funny because like I watched those movies as an adult, but I remember when Friday came out, dude, I was a kid. I didn't smoke weed.
How old are you?
You know, I'm 37.
Okay, so you're 2 years younger than me.
Friday came out, like I had to be like 12, 11, something. I was old. I was a little kid, I think. Like, I definitely didn't smoke weed when I would watch Cheech and Chong movies, all that stuff, you know, like
1995, Derek.
Yeah, so like 94 was when Kurt Cobain died, and I remember being like a fucking tyke, you know. I was like, oh, I don't know who that guy is, but I feel like this is a really big moment in the world. Like, I couldn't relate to those movies, and for people that say those movies are like, I don't know, I think some people can be talked into trying drugs because they see it on film. Like, I definitely didn't. Like, I associated marijuana with losers. Like, early on, I have my dad, my birth father, has like 14 siblings and like 4 of them in prison for narcotics. And as a kid, I thought they were fucking losers. As an adult, I'm like, put them in jail for what? Because they gave somebody a chemical? Go to the pharmacy. You know, it's like, yeah, we do that all day here in this country.
Yeah, that is a little bit strange. Like, you think about how that's still criminal in places like in Kansas where I live.
Where you're sitting, dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, up real quick, Dusty, and you'll get raided.
Absolutely. No, you're not going to see any of that from me here ever. Like, you're in a place where it's legal, so I really don't care. Man. You should turn something sweet on your green screen, actually, since we're sitting here. Can you?
Dude, I'm so frazzled. So frazzled.
You need to put up something that sets the mood.
Can't possibly do anything else.
Well, I had an experience.
Matt Baller's 35. You had an experience what?
Oh, I had an experience similar to what you experienced, but I wasn't picking up weed. I was actually picking up takeout Thanksgiving dinner because I have to work Friday. And my wife does some baking and stuff, and she got a bunch of orders for this pudding and all this traditional bread stuff that she makes, and she just started that, but she got a bunch of orders, more than she thought. And she's like, I can't cook this year. I don't have time. I have a bunch of shit to make. I'm like, okay, cool. So I just ordered in, and I called it in, and they're like, okay, well, we're out of turkeys and hams, but we can give you sliced turkey and sliced ham. I'm like, all right, I'll take 2 pounds of each, whatever. And they're like, and if you could come pick it up tonight, it would be better because tomorrow night we're going to be slammed. And I'm like, okay, cool. What time would you like me to come pick it up? They're like 7. I get there at 7 o'clock. I walk out of there at 7:45. And I've got the boys with me. And we're all wearing Crocs because I thought I was just going to walk in and walk out. So we have like matching Crocs on. And Lucas is wearing shorts and a dinosaur raincoat. And, you know, I'm just like, what did you order? What's your name? Who are you? Like, I'm doing exactly what you guys told me to do to accommodate you. Like, what's the confusion about here? And they ended up getting it right, I think. I checked it before I left, and it looked like everything was correct, unless they put like sand in the things, you know. But it looked like it was correct.
Dusty Grant, I'm trash. I realized I was trash. Yes, 2 days ago, I was in here editing, and Doc came running in here. And my son Doc's 4. He's obese. Just happens. We're gonna join a gym. Me and Doc. I'm gonna get him into like training
Jiu-jitsu.
and stuff. But he's a fucking shit brick house, dude. Like he can inflict damage already, dude. But he basically just chills in his underwear, like boxer briefs, like, which just has to change. My brother and his wife and 2 daughters are moving in Sunday, so I'm like, dude, you have to put clothes on, man. You can't walk around in your underwear all day. But he came running in here. He's like, Dad, the ice cream truck's here, and he had a handful of ones. I was like, where the fuck did you get that? And he's like, let's go. And I was like, all right, I was high, so I was like, all right. So I just got out, and we like ran outside, ran down the thing, and we're like sitting there waiting for ice cream. I still had people looking at us, and I like look down, and I'm like, oh yeah, my kid's in his underwear with no shoes on. Dude, like I'm that guy. Like I'm the guy that's standing out in the middle of the street with a kid that's like half naked, basically. You know, just checked out, man.
What? Yeah, you got to turn it around, man. You're making dark memes. You're doing all kinds of sketchy shit. Smoking too much. I mean, we got to get you on the right track here. What can we do?
I watched Fly.
Refresh your Sundays with Grace Notes. Artful. Come Follow Up. Family Rules. Hello Sunday. And Music and the Spoken Word. Seek, Hear, Feel. Sundays on BYU.
While the family's together for the holidays, why not plan your next summer vacation? Right now, Ocean Isle Beach has lots of places to choose from. So book your Ocean Isle Beach getaway today at oceanisle.style.com.
TV.
Watching me right now.
Really?
Yep.
That'll turn things around quickly.
Okay, you better get out of here. What's that? A lady's legs?
Extra thick.
Extra thick. You is, girl. Damn.
What are you sipping on
now, Dusty?
Coffee?
I got some coffee, man.
Oh, this is my. I just realized. No, I just realized this is.
Types that'll drink coffee an hour before bed.
You're like my wife. My wife can crush 32 ounces of coffee right before she goes to bed and sleep like a baby. Yep. And I don't drink coffee after noon because if I have one ounce of caffeine, I'm wired till like 3 a.m. And I love coffee, but it's always my first drink of the day, and then it's over with. Like I was taking pre-workout. Have you ever drank a pre-workout?
No.
You mix it into water, and it's got a bunch of caffeine and a bunch of crazy like vitamins and shit in it, B12 and all this. Dude, you have to time when you're taking that stuff. So you're driving to the gym, and if there's an accident or a traffic jam somewhere or something, and you already drank your pre-workout, and you're like,
somebody had to die in this story, Dusty. You're like, there's a pile up. There's dead people, and you already drank it.
Yeah, and you're sitting in your car just going absolutely apeshit because you've got like this crazy boost of energy, and then you're just sitting at a stoplight.
What goes in must come out, dude. What is the process like? What is your next bowel movement like after you drink that shit?
Explosive, just like the.
I was gonna everything that is beneficial. It's like, yeah, it's gonna do this, and this. What about pooping? Oh, it's gonna look like a shotgun went on the toilet, man. Like, it's just gonna just everywhere, man.
I mean, I stopped drinking it, man. It was just too much for me, and I couldn't handle the anxiety. And I'd just be sitting there laying in bed at like 4 a.m. My wife's like, dude, I can hear you thinking. You know, like my eyes must be like flashlights, you know what I mean? Just and I'm just spun out. And then when I come down off of it, I'm tired as hell, but I still can't sleep, and I get like delirious. See, that's the biggest thing with me is, Mike, I have problems with sleeping. I have problems with like settling down and relaxing and sitting in one place for very long. I wake up all the time in the middle of the night, every night. I can't remember. I can't remember the last time I slept for like 6 hours continuously. Honestly, swear to God, I cannot remember.
That can drive you crazy.
Well, yeah, look.
My dad, dude, my stepdad, I call him my dad though because he did the job, but he has insomnia, and he says he'll go upstairs, he'll lay down, and he'll close his eyes, and just nothing for like 2 hours, and he's like, I won't think, I'll just have my eyes closed and I'll just think about blackness. He's like, and the next thing I know, I'm downstairs watching TV, and then it's like 8 a.m, and then he falls asleep on the couch for a couple hours. My dad basically sleeps in like little 2 to 3 minute intervals, you know, and it's because he's like beat his body up working in the oil field for 35 years. And, you know, partied a little bit in his 20s, you know.
Well, who
There's
didn't?
a little bit of damage
on.
from those days, you know.
Come on.
But like, you know, he's 60 almost. You know, I think he's around 60. He's feeling it, you know, like he's getting up there and stuff. And, but yeah, you know, like, I don't envy that at all. Like, and you know, I hate saying this because it's like brag. It's like saying like, oh, we got pregnant on the first try to somebody that's been trying to have a kid for like, you know, 3 in vitro treatments, which
right?
is like 80 grand a piece, you know.
You're just rubbing their nose in it.
If you're listening to this and then you have a kid, easily never brag about that because fucking you're crushing somebody that day. Just, you know, like, it's not good. But like, I forgot where I was going with that, dude.
You forgot where you were going completely. It's over. The sleeping thing. You forgot. I did this for you last week. I had to rescue you. I threw you a life raft, and here I am again. DG and friends. When you're my friend, I bring you back. Dude. Huh?
I'm the kind of guy that I'll go to the room at night, and I'll, you know, do the man thing. You know, look at some pornography, and fucking take care of some things, and then a couple swipes of Facebook. A little bit of meme farming on Reddit, and then I'm one of those people that plug my phone in, I put it down, and I close my eyes and I wake up. Like, I just go to sleep.
Oh, you're lucky.
And I know, dude. But they put me on a pill one time where I couldn't sleep, and I made them take me off of it, dude. I was like, no. I was like, I have mental illness, and there's a lot of days when I'm like really fucked up with OCD that sleep is the only thing that's keeping me here. You know, I'm just like, eventually I can shut down and go to sleep. I don't have to think anymore, you know. And you know, that's why I smoke a shitload of weed, man, because like I'm just trying to I have a lyric that says I'm nervous when I sit still, so I don't sit still anymore. And it's mostly like a mind thing, you know. Like rarely will you find me just sitting there being idle. Even if I'm just sitting there being a fat piece of shit, I'm thinking about something that I'm working on. You know what
You're
I'm
the
saying?
same as me, dude, in that regard, except for the sleeping thing. And to be honest with you, I'm not tired.
Yeah.
Like I feel good, but I wonder if like the wear and tear that I'm sustaining and training and stuff like that is because I'm not getting enough rest to recover. And some things like that. But I mean, as far as mentally and like my mental acuity, like creativity, my brain is firing on all fucking cylinders right now. I'm excited. I'm pumped. Like a lot of people are sitting around resting on their laurels. Like I'm pumped. I got new music coming out. Like I'm fired up, and I'm thinking of ways to promote, and I'm thinking of ways to be positive, and I'm thinking of good ideas and whatever it is. And I'm not tired. You know what I mean? I think I'm just waking up with like my brain rests just enough to cultivate some crazy idea. And then I wake up in the middle of the night and I have to get up and like take my phone in the bathroom and write it down, because if I go back to bed, I won't remember.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. It's a weird thing. I go through the same thing when I release new music. Like when I'm anticipating a release, like the night before a release, I don't sleep a fucking wink. I'm checking shit, going back over stuff, making sure everything's, just so. And it's like, I don't know if people understand how much obsession goes into that, making sure every nook and cranny is fucking dialed in. And it's like, I don't care if they recognize that. I recognize that. That's something that I like to do. I enjoy it. And it's like, if I'm going to do it, I have to burn the midnight oil to do it. And I guess maybe my body's acclimating to it. They also say as you get older, you don't need as much sleep.
Dude, my wife, when I met her, she was working all night, where she would kind of sleep a little bit because she was taking care of a guy that was sleeping. So like she would watch TV, but she had to get up several times. I mean, she wasn't sleeping all night, but she did doze off a little bit every once in a while. But then she would get off work, hang out with me, and then I wouldn't go to sleep. And then around noon, she would go to the school and she would play piano for the choir teacher for like 4 periods. And she would go home and like, my wife still to this day, dude, like she usually stays up till about 3 a.m. every night. She thinks she's fucking 12. And she sleeps on the couch in a weird angle, like every night. She doesn't sleep with me. She sleeps on the couch at a weird angle because she has a fear of missing out. She thinks she's going to miss something if she goes. If you tell my wife to go to bed, dude, it's the only time she'll ever fucking like cuss me out. Like it's like she's a 12-year-old girl, Dusty. She's
Why?
Like, don't tell me what to do.
What is she going to miss?
Like,
what is she worried about missing?
I don't know, but then she gets up at like 7 a.m. and works all day and takes care of the kids. She sleeps like my wife's been going on like 4 hours of sleep since I met her, and we've been together 10 years. So like some people just do that, man. Like she's also the type of person that she won't sleep in because if she sleeps for too long, her body hurts. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Like,
I do the same.
It's the opposite.
Same thing, dude. If I lay in one spot for too long, my fucking arm starts to go numb. You know what I mean? I think I'm just starting to carry the wear and tear of all the shit I've done to my body, like playing football, doing jujitsu, kickboxing, all that stuff. Like all the stuff that they're coming at. Curly Merkin is in the house. Who's in Ballard? Matt Baller. You know Matt Baller from Facebook. You talked to me about him. You're like, that dude is all over the Wichita music scene. Matt Baller.
Oh, Matt Baller. I know the name, but I can't. I know like a lot of people through.
But you got to see the picture.
Yeah,
Matt Baller's asking. Matt Baller's asking for the new Dusty meme. There's a few in the pipeline. Trust me, I've got a few in the pipeline. I've got assholes sending them to me on a daily basis now. And they're just gonna keep pumping out. I've got a special Thanksgiving. I've got a special Thanksgiving
I didn't really
meme.
get it, but it was a guy sitting on a toilet and his nuts were like stuck in between the seat and the porcelain. It was like, your phone's dead, but you still want to get that Dusty Grant vibe on. I was like, what?
I have no idea.
I don't know what that means, but I was like, well, that's just mean. I'll send it to him.
Matt's saying he can't sleep in any other position besides on his stomach, and sometimes he has sleep paralysis. So yeah, that's fine.
Dude,
so sleep paralysis, what is? Never. Explain sleep paralysis to me.
So sleep paralysis is like where you think you're awake, you're not. You think you're awake. You can hear everything in the room around you. And as far as you're concerned, you're not dreaming. You can hear everything. You can hear the TV. You can keep track of conversations, but you cannot, for the life of you, move a single muscle in your body. It's basically like, and then you just sit there wondering, like, I just have a fucking stroke. Is this it? Am I just gonna, because I've taken care of a woman, dude.
Do they know what causes it?
Move her eyelids anymore. I'm sure we could Google. Matt probably knows something about it, but like. It's like you just can't move. It's just you're paralyzed, dude. And for me, I can't open my eyes. I can't talk. I can't scream. Can't move. But it doesn't happen very often. But when it does, dude, but like the older I get, man, like when it happened when I was a kid, dude, I would freak the fuck out.
Okay, so listen to this. Okay, so I'm just looking at it. The causes of sleep paralysis include. This is just a quick Google search too, so I'm not like trying to say I'm a doctor. But causes of sleep paralysis: insomnia, disrupted sleeping patterns, for example, because of shift work or jet lag, narcolepsy, PTSD, anxiety, panic attacks, family history of sleep paralysis. So I've had insomnia, check, disrupted sleeping patterns, check, PTSD, possibly, anxiety, definitely, panic, definitely. Not sure about the family history, but I checked some of the boxes on that, and I've never experienced it, strangely.
It's not fun.
I'm lucky.
You just get kind of like freaked out, and then you generally it's coupled with you think somebody's like in there about to hurt you, and you can't scream for help, you can't do anything. You're just like laying there. So what happened to me was I was on some medication, and it was when I first got help with mental illness, and I went to just a regular doctor, like somebody you go to when you hurt your foot. They're like, try these pills. They didn't ask me any questions. They just put me on this pill, and I lost my mind, dude. And I was
it a painkiller
on my couch. Huh?
Was it a painkiller? What was it?
It was basically Prozac.
Okay.
And I was laying down, and I had my like 1-year-old son laying on my chest, which is that's really dangerous, man. I was zonked out on pills. I could have rolled over on him. I would never do that now, but I was laying with my 1-year-old on my chest, and I fell asleep. I had sleep paralysis when I woke up, and I was just trying so hard to move, and I couldn't. And there was people in my office messing around on my computer and rustling papers around.
Ugh.
Swear to God, that's what it sounded like. So I'm all bombed out of my head on these pills. So then I had pissed the police off in Garden City by this lady. They did like this really shitty arrest on this lady, and I helped her release the video to the public. And anyway, I had pissed the police off. And so like I was like sitting there going to sleep, and my OCD, which was way kicked into gear by these meds I was on, dude. I was convinced that the police had put me under a trance, and they had went and put a bunch of like kid porn on my computer and like mom shit. And I was so convinced of it that I thought my wife was in on it, dude. And that was when I had to go see a psychiatrist. They're like, let's go talk to somebody.
Think about the chemical.
I put all of our phones in one side of the house, and I took her to the other side of the house, and I was whispering. It's like, they're listening to us. They're setting us up. They're going to plant cocaine on us. She's like, you're crazy. I'm like, no. I pissed them off. She's like, they don't care about that. I'm like, yes, they do. Like, dude, crazy.
I mean, I've the big
never without. I was on a Prozac basically, and you're not supposed to do that to somebody who's bipolar. I was in the fucking clouds, bro. I thought the president was after me. I thought they were all going to set me, and I didn't do anything wrong. I just thought I was being set up because I helped some lady show the world that the cops were really rude when they arrested her. Like, like crazy stuff,
Yeah, I guess the only thing I can really compare to that is like a panic attack. I've had panic attacks before, and where I feel like I'm going to die. It's like the first time I had when I was actually driving, and I was driving back to Omaha. I was working down here, but
Refresh your Sundays with Grace Notes. Artful. Come Follow Up. Family Rules. Hello Sunday. And Music and the Spoken Word. Seek, Hear, Feel. Sundays on BYU TV. Refresh your Sundays with Grace Notes. Artful. Come Follow Up. Family Rules. Hello Sunday. And Music and the Spoken Word. Seek, Hear, Feel. Sundays.
Advanced security from Cox Panoramic Wi-Fi protects your connected devices from online threats 24/7. But hey, you're probably safe without it. Probably. Like how that free streaming website was probably not a scam. Someone's probably not stealing your bank info as we speak to buy a 4-story Chalet Grande. Yeah, you're probably fine. Or you could know your network is covered with advanced security from Cox Panoramic Wi-Fi. Restrictions apply. Copyright 2020 Cox Communications, Inc. All rights reserved. Wondering if that free streaming site was safe? Know for sure with Cox Panoramic Wi-Fi Advanced Security. It protects your connected devices from online threats and sends real-time alerts, so you don't have to wonder. Click to learn more. Restrictions apply. Copyright 2020 Cox Communications, Inc. All rights reserved.
On BYU TV.
I'd been working tons of hours and I didn't have any social life at all. And I was just, at that time, I was just living in a cheap apartment, socking money away and working my ass off because I didn't know anybody. I'm like, I might as well get the paper while I have the chance to do it. And I went up to Omaha to see a buddy and jam and write some tunes and whatever. But I was on my way up there and I had to pull over on the highway. I thought I was going to die. I don't know. I don't know what something happened that kind of triggered it, but I was driving and I'm like, and he's like, you need to pull over, man. You need to pull over. This is getting crazy. And I'd never had one before. So to me, it was terrifying. Like I got out of the car, walked around the car a couple times, sat there, took deep breaths, and finally kind of worked through it. And he's like, yeah, dude, you had a panic attack. And I'm like, oh, that's what that feels like. You feel like you're going to die of anxiety. And I've had a couple of them since then, but I'm almost to the point now where I feel like I'm zen enough to, like, when I know they're coming on, I'm like, I'm going to go in the other room. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to be like,
I'm going to go have a good cry. No, what I do,
whatever
man,
it may be, you know.
I had to tell myself because mine is with the OCD. Mine was very with OCD. Okay, so a lot of people with OCD. If you go to like an OCD message board and you'll see a lot of people, you know, like, and you're probably guilty of this. I know I'm guilty of it, but everybody's guilty of being like, "Oh, I'm so OCD because I do this," or I'm so OCD because I do that. But OCD is not being neat. OCD is not being tidy. That is not obsessive. Obsessive compulsive disorder is some people thinking that crazy as shit, dude, and they can't not think it, you know? Like, basically anybody that has a crazy phobia that's like life altering where they can't do that, like people that can't be around mustard and shit, like it's just OCD generally, dude, just an obsession that has gone where and then the rituals happen, like you do things to make yourself feel better, but they don't really do anything. It's very ritualistic and stuff. Like OCD is a very debilitating, disgusting disease, dude. Like,
but those are those people that you see that, like, you know, you see them on Lifetime eating cat hair and they're like obsessed with eating cat hair, or they're like obsessed with a inflatable pool toy. You know what I mean? Or they have these like really weird quirks, like, oh, they eat toilet paper or eat tissue. Like, there's all these weird things, and you're sitting there going, how does this fit in to, like, how do you take that first handful of cat hair and just swallow it? How do you, and that's like the thing about the heroin thing too. I'm like, I mean, I've experimented with stuff, but I never got into the hardcore stuff. But I always wondered, like, somebody that, what point do you have to get to where you're like, all right, I'm going to stick that needle in my arm and jam this shit in a vein, and I know it's possibly going to kill me and certainly create a life destroying addiction. All right, let's go. How do you get to that point?
Starts.
Have you done it?
No, but how heroin starts, from what I know, I've been around it a lot, especially in Raleigh back in the day when I lived there. A lot of friends were on it, and there was one summer there was like 27 kids that just died.
Were they snorting it or shooting it?
Both, whatever. Ugh. A lot of them were snorting it though when they died. What it generally happens is somebody gets like a football injury or a baseball injury, or they break their toe, they get put on pain pills. They immediately become addicted to the pain pills. Then they start finding the pain pills on the street, and they're paying an arm and a leg for a little pill that's full of a bunch of garbage besides the opiate. There's a bunch of other shit in there. And then they find out, you know what? I can buy heroin, which is basically better for me than this shit that I'm putting into my body. And it's about a fucking fraction of the cost. So therefore, you get people shooting up heroin for the first time because they're already addicted to opiates. And they're like, you know what? I'm going to get a better high. I'm going to get a safer high. And fucking, you know, it's not safe to fucking cook up some pill from the pharmacy and shoot it up, you know? Like,
no.
There's a lot of shit in there, you know? Like heroin, you know, like, again, it's not, and that's one thing, like Oregon just did this thing where they legalized everything. They didn't legalize it, but they decriminalized all these drugs. And I think that's kind of the right path. Like, somebody who has a drug problem shouldn't be considered a criminal. They should be considered someone with a drug problem. You know, it's like, hey, we need to do something about this, but not putting them in prison would be a good thing to do. You know, it's like,
well, they need treatment.
You know, yeah,
but that's expensive too.
Even if somebody is beyond like And if somebody's like, you know what, I just want to fucking do opiates for the rest of my life, I'm like, cool. Can you go to a clinic? Will you go to a clinic and have a nurse administer it to you, and you can just sit there and doze off all night and sleep? I don't give a shit. But please stop buying shit from some guy named Rodney in a fucking back of a fucking venue and then going and shooting it up in a fucking stairwell and hopefully not dying. Like, if you're gonna fucking do opiates, please go to a clinic and have it administered to you after they take your weight, do a drug test to see what else you're fucking with in your system, and let you know exactly how much you need to take to kick off.
Did you read Keith Richards' biography?
No.
It's an autobiography. It's like it's told in the first person, but I think he obviously had somebody writing with him. But he said he saw so many musicians come and go with heroin and all that type of stuff, and he's always done it and said he always did it. And he said the reason that he thinks he never like OD'd or had, I mean, I think he OD'd a few times and probably died a few times. Like everybody that's done heroin, I guess, eventually experiences that. But he said the biggest thing for him was he always did the same amount. He said no matter how much further we got, how far into it I got, I always did the same amount. I never tried to up the ante. And he said, and I knew a lot of people that were like, it was about doing this much this time and then this much next time, and like seeing how far they could push it. And that's how you OD. But I can see it. I've taken opiates from, like, I had my ACL removed, I tore my ACL when I was in a jiu-jitsu tournament and I had to have it repaired. And they gave me a bunch of, I think it was Percocet or oxycodone or something like that. But it was really strong stuff because they had to like reconstruct my knee, put screws in my bones. You know, I mean, they had to rebuild my entire knee basically. And man, I was on those pills for like 3 or 4 days and I wanted off. I did not like the way it made me feel. It made me anxious, itchy, short temper, constipated. And I'm like, how do people get addicted to that? How could you possibly like that feeling? Because when I take those things, man, I stopped taking them. And I was like, I'll suffer. I was sitting at work like sweating all day because I was in so much pain. But I'm like, I'd rather do that than keep taking those things. Because like the way it made me feel, man, it just made me feel gross.
I can see how people take. I had a tooth problem for a while, and I didn't have any insurance, so I would just go to the doctor, and they would give me pain pills and the antibiotics or whatever to get the swelling down. And so every time I would get the pain pills, like me and my friends, which none of us had a pill problem, none of us ever had pills, but I had gotten all these pills, and we were like, I'll take one and get drunk. And they gave me like 60 pills for a toothache, dude. And we took them and partied with them for like, I don't know, 2 weeks. And I could totally see how somebody would get lost in that lifestyle. Because to me, all it did to me was just like, I not only took it when I got off work, I took one when I got off work, and I had a fucking horrible toothache, and I would just sit there, and my buddy was like, his mom had abused pain pills, so he knew that was like not cool. And you know, I had 60 pills, we took them, and then I never did it again. But I would be sitting there watching TV and snoring, dude. And he was like, how are you doing that? I was like, I didn't even realize it. He's like, you're awake, but you're snoring. And so I get why people, the thing is
did you like the way it made you feel though?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah, I think I would like heroin, dude. Like I love like being so stoned that I'm just like, but like the thing is, it's like, no, I'm not going to. Like, no, I don't want it. Like, I think that if I had somebody give me the right amount of heroin, I think I would enjoy it. But like, again, like I don't know. I'm sitting here I have a bad weed habit. Like, and I already know how that's annoying, dude. Like, I don't want to get addicted to anything more addictive. But the thing is I think that a lot of people end up, you know, like I said, they end up taking the opiates because of a physical pain, but then I think they keep taking the opiates because it alleviates the emotional pain. And that's where, you know, you run into you know, like America, like back in the day when I was a kid, it was either drugs are good or either drugs are bad, you know, and there was like no in between. But then it was like the pharmaceutical drugs are good, but the ones you get on the street are bad. But at the end of the day, dude, it's all just powders and chemicals that make us act differently. And people, you know, want certain ones. Like there's adults that take Adderall every day, you know, like that's the same thing as, you know, somebody buying a little bit of coke and taking a few bumps throughout the day, you know, like it's basically the same thing. I think what it is instead of like demonizing, I think we should just realize that humans like to get fucked up, and we shouldn't punish people for it. And if anything, we should try to find ways to make it like it's dangerous, you know. Which the thing is most drugs are not dangerous if somebody that knows what they're doing is there, you know. Like, yeah,
I don't know, man. I don't have any interest in going further than I've already gone in my life. You know, I don't.
Well,
I'm
not
not
me either. But I mean, go so tomorrow, not tomorrow, but on your next day off, go to a methadone clinic at 5 a.m. and just sit there and park and watch it for 4 hours.
Right.
People are getting high every day. Like that's like, that's a problem. We can't. There's no anti-drug jargon out there that's gonna make millions of people stop waking up and going to a fucking methadone clinic in the morning or a pain management clinic every morning. People are going to get fucked up on opiates, whether they can do it legally or illegally. I think that, you know, if because obviously, again, like people are just going to take opiates, man. They don't want to hear what other people say. They're just going to take them. So if they can do it safely, then that would be better, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I can't imagine what it's like to try to kick that stuff or whatever. But I
don't
just
think you can, honestly, dude. Like, I mean, sure you can, but I don't think most people have the will to kick something like that. I think it's just something you ride out.
Yeah, you'll have to excuse the herd of buffalo in my home right now. I don't know if you're hearing that. Hear that?
Yeah.
I'm sure it's loud because it sounds
home,
like
man.
It sounds like they're in my room right now. But yeah, I don't know, man. That whole thing is a slippery slope. Like the amount of painkillers that they were willing to give me when I had my knee surgery, I was like, I don't need another month of that shit. I don't need 60 more of those. I didn't want the first 30. Like I took 10 of them and hated it and suffered for a month and took ibuprofen, you know. So I can't even identify. I can't even imagine, but I imagine different strokes for different folks, you know. I've just never
being just a raw human's kind of a tough deal, man. It's like no chemicals, just a raw human, like a monk. I mean, I don't know, man. Like most people that I know are heavily addicted to some type of chemical, whether it be fucking opiates or Dr. Pepper or
it's always
nicotine.
something with somebody, Diet Coke, whatever it might
Somebody
be.
prefers life with a caffeine buzz or a nicotine buzz, or you know, a lot of people prefer life with, you know, the help of chemicals. No.
Yeah. I mean, I can't lie. I mean, I like to drink a beer. You know, I have to take allergy medicine all the time. From time to time, I recreationally smoke pot. I don't know. I do. I like to drink beer, and it helps me relax sometimes. Like I don't know. I guess I don't know how to assess it, but you're right. I mean, I'm sure people want to take a break. I mean, especially when you're working 40, 50, 60-hour weeks, or you're going through a traumatic situation or something like that. I mean, is there really a problem with taking the edge off? I mean, if I'm feeling
and
like,
that's why
I wish like in Kansas, okay? So like if I'm having one of my days where I notice, all right, I'm on edge today. There's nothing. It would probably benefit me to stop on my way home at a dispensary and grab a frickin' gummy and pop a couple of them on my way home. And by the time I get home, I'd probably, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I think it has a lot to do with balance. And
marijuana makes me a better dad. If I wasn't smoking weed, dude, I bet I'd yell at my kids all the time. And I do yell at my kids sometimes, but not for very long. I'm just like, hey, knock it off. And they listen.
Well, sometimes you have to.
If I was stone cold sober, no nicotine, no weed, no caffeine, I think I would be just like, I would be my brother. It's an asshole, dude. Just like
he is an asshole.
You know, he's an asshole. So like it's like I don't want to be that. And that's one of the reasons I take my psych meds every day, dude, because I used to be the most cynical, fucking couldn't get along with anybody, self-appointed integrity police person on the planet. And I mean, I got sick of myself, dude. I'm like, who gives a fuck what you think, dude?
Yeah.
Who are you? Well, you're so much better than anybody, you know? It's like, I don't know, man. Me sober is bad.
Well, I don't, I mean, I get most of my shit done when I'm sober. You know what I mean? I work long hours and I can't sit around and edit video and write songs messed up either. Like, so it's, if I want to be productive, I just can't afford to do that because I just get distracted and then that's what I want to do. You know what I mean? If I sit down to drink beer, I just want to sit down and drink beer. I don't want to do anything else. I don't want to have a couple. You know what I mean? Like I know my limitations, I suppose. But when it comes to limitations, I know I'm going to try to segue into this. This is going to be a really hard turn. Okay, Derek, are you ready? Right. Strap it on. Because so far, lighthearted, happy hour conversations between you and I have not happened at all. 2 in a row, just the most depressing wormhole you could ever go down. But no, we've got Matt's asking, what are your favorite Thanksgiving food and Thanksgiving dessert?
I like dark meat turkey. I think white meat turkey is just dry as shit.
I agree.
It's like a Popeye's biscuit. It's just like too dry. I can't do it unless you have gravy on it. But I'm not really I don't get excited for turkey and all that shit. Like, I don't know. My family, like Stephanie grew up in a house where they didn't celebrate holidays because of religion. And we didn't celebrate holidays in my family because my parents were lazy. Like, they didn't have anything against them. They just didn't decorate for Christmas. Like, they would, for Christmas, my entire life, my dad would just give me $100 bill and be like, here you go, bud. Merry Christmas, which is awesome. You know, for a fucking kid, you know, you're like, sweet. You know, I never got that, like, you know, presents under the tree, all that stuff, which I look back on it now, dude, and I kind of thank God, dude. Like, my first wife and her brother, they were in their mid-20s, and they would cry on Christmas morning if they didn't get what they wanted. And I'm like, yeah, I don't want it. I'm glad I'm not that person. Like,
wow, yeah, no.
And if I ever have kids back then, I was like, I'm never going to let them fucking think Christmas is cool. Like, I don't want them to be like these, like, well, what did I get for Christmas? It's like, fucking nothing. You get to live here, dude. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, all this stuff in here that you have is what you got for Christmas.
you know, we get our kids presents for Christmas, and we you know, we tell them it's from Santa and all that, but we really don't get too lost in holidays and stuff. And a lot of it's just because neither one of us, me or my wife, really grew up with holidays. But like, as far as like holiday foods and stuff, like I'll eat whatever there. I'll make a plate. I like pumpkin pie and stuff, but I don't know. The older I get, like I just usually eat some turkey, and I eat a lot of rolls. I found out, like on Thanksgiving.
You like bread?
I like the bread.
You get along with my wife. She loves bread. My biggest thing for me on Thanksgiving is stuffing. I only eat stuffing once a year. Thanksgiving is the only time I eat stuffing, and I eat a lot of stuffing with gravy. And pumpkin pie is my jam. Like, we always had a pretty badass spread for Thanksgiving. Like, my family was always pretty big on it. So I still get in the holiday spirit a little bit, even though I don't necessarily buy into the principles behind the holidays and all that type of stuff. But I really like getting the kids excited. But we do the same thing. Like, the older kids, we even tell them, it's like, we're going to save money for a vacation next year. Do you want to go to Arkansas Springs and go hiking, or do you want a Barbie? You know what I mean? So we try to be a little bit more like that with it. But yeah, we get pretty into it. Like, I put some lights up. We're gonna put a tree up, all that type of thing. But I don't know. Sometimes the pandemonium of Christmas, like, this is maybe the first year, and I haven't made it through yet, so I can't say this for sure. But this is like the first year I've gone into the holidays in like 10 years that I haven't just been like manically psycho. You know, just with trying to work out work out the holiday schedule with my situation with my kid where I have shared custody, and trying to travel for Thanksgiving with work and see my family, and there's like pressure from my family to come here, and there's that, and then I'm negotiating with someone who doesn't want to negotiate with me at all to try and figure it out. And it's like I've been the Grinch, you know what I mean? And like the last couple of years, I'm like, I can't do that to my kids. That's not fair to them. You know, I have to I have to smile. But like, since I've set some boundaries and changed a couple things, like this year, my anxiety and my depression and stress is significantly less than it normally is, you know, this time of year. But I still haven't made it through, you know, like I still have to make it through Thanksgiving and Christmas with no meltdowns. So it could happen, but I just this year I'm trying to be more optimistic about it, I guess.
So last year, we just did. They both got a present, which they got like weeks before Christmas. I'm that kind of dad. I just give it to them the day I buy it. And on Christmas, we went, and this organization here in Phoenix where they take it's like a cooler full of food, and then each kid in the house gets a toy, like, just like a toy, like, like a toy gun or something like that. Which probably wasn't a toy gun, but it was a church thing.
A toy machete.
A toy
chainsaw. A toy chainsaw.
But like, it was just like some church thing, and like, I'm not like a charitable person or anything. There was a girl that I was trying to hook up with that would, like, asked me if I wanted to go. It was last year, and I was like, Stephanie, this chick that like I'm talking to is like, honestly, and she was like, oh, that'd be really cool. We can go talk to we can go show the kids that, like, people have shitty Christmases and like we can help. So like, that's what we did last year.
That's good.
That was pretty fun. Like, that was cool just to see, like, people that, and it's not like I had like a great childhood or anything, man, but like you go out and do stuff like that, man, and you're just like, oh yeah. The world fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Like, this is terrible. Like, where I'm delivering these things, this is awful, and people live here. This is what they call home. This is their safe place.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't know. It's like real humbling and shit, man. And see, like, I'm all about some poor kid that fucking has everything in life stacked against them right now for them to end up successful and, well. They have everything stacked against them. So, and I don't want my kids to see that, like, because, my kids are real good at, like, thinking that their life sucks. I'm like, no, your life doesn't suck.
I think all kids
show you
think
kids that life sucks, like,
yeah.
I'm like, your life is sweet, like, you ate today, like, that's cool, like, you should be proud of that, because not everybody in your class, buddy, ate today, like, in the summertime, like, not all ate today.
Well, you go, like, when you travel and you go to these, like, you go to Jamaica or something like that, and you go to these all-inclusive resorts, or you go to Mexico or wherever you're going, Central America, whatever, and you're driving through these towns on the way to get to where your lavish, party central resort is, and you're driving through like these shanty towns, and you're just like, man, it gives you a real perspective on how good you have it. It's like, it's almost a reason why you should enjoy your vacation more. It's like, because this is an opportunity that not a lot of people get, and you should be grateful, and you should tip those guys extra, and you should fucking be nice to them and not be a dick and all of that, because like, they're living a completely different situation than any of us could even feasibly imagine. It's like, all right, I learned that's like, I take that home from my vacation, hopefully, and it's like, I'm always super nice to everybody, and I tip a lot, and I probably tip too much, and I probably look like a sucker tourist American, but I don't care at all. I'm like, hey buddy, hey.
I never got that either. Like, I have a lot of friends that'll say, that with the whole immigration thing, like, they'll be like, oh, of course they should come here and all that stuff, but like, I'm sorry, dude. I'm fucking glad I was born in this shithole country, dude. Like, just like you're talking about, man, there are places that are connected to us by land. But running water is still a thing of the future. Like, I live in a country, it might be dirty water and it might kill you, like in Flint, but they give you generally some water running to your house. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
yeah.
It's like, there's countries that, like, China, you can't have an opinion or they kill you or whatever, all that shit they say on the internet. It's just like,
yeah,
America's not that bad, man. Like, I feel like I've met a lot of people, man, that came here illegally and worked their way to be here legally.
Me too.
And they have a great job, and they usually have a great 2 jobs, and they're taking care of their family back home and stuff, and like that's awesome that America was a place where they could do that. And then they'd be like, well, it wasn't easy for them. It's like, yeah, but would that be fun?
Yeah.
And I do think that, it shouldn't take 20 years to become a United States citizen. You know what I'm saying? I think there's obviously some flaws there and stuff. But like, there's a reason people are running here. You know, it's like, it's not so bad here. You know, there's a lot of opportunity in this country. And really, I'm a firm believer that you kind of go where you walk in life in America. Like, if you want to be doing something in a year from now, start walking towards it. And generally in America, you'll be okay. Like, sure, and a lot, like we were talking about earlier, it's not about like what you know, it's who you know, and all that stuff. Life is like the game Big Brother. Start playing, you know, meet people, network, you know, all this stuff. And yeah, I'm high.
I mean, you gotta try shit. Like, I'm learning by going. I'm trying it. I'm trying this. You know what I mean? I'm trying to grow my arsenal, or I'm trying to build something, and the only way that I think I can do that successfully is if I learn, you know, the hard way. And for some, I don't know, sometimes people associate learning the hard way as a negative thing. And for me, no, it's like these are the reps that I needed. This is the mold that I needed. I needed to go through this. I needed to go through that to get to where I am here, because now I've learned from that situation and I can apply that the next time I get, you know what I mean? It's just, it's a thing that snowballs. But if you just sit around and you just sit around and complain about it, and you sit around and make it this whiny shit that we've experienced lately, especially, I'm noticing that it's backed off quite a bit since the election's over, which is nice. Like, it seems like everything's a little milder on the social media landscape these days. There's a little more smiling, a little more laughing. But I think some people are just like, their life is consumed by that negativity and that sitting around and complaining about things that aren't happening for them, but they're not doing shit, you know, to make it happen for themselves. And it's like, I at some point, I just stop feeling sorry for them. You know what I mean? It's not that I'm on some high horse saying I'm doing the right thing, but I wake up every day and work my ass off, and I try to do better every day. And so far, so good. You know, I've never made a dime that I haven't had to go out and earn, and that's it. You know what I mean? I don't understand why it's so complicated, but there's so many different walks of life and so many situations that people are born into that you can't really judge them for that either.
No, my dad dropped out of high school in the 10th grade. And when he was in his heyday in the oil field, I don't know how much he made, but it was over 100,000 easy, you know, a year. And that's pretty good for a guy that doesn't have a high school diploma. You know what I'm saying? Like, where there's a fucking will, there's a way. And he didn't give out jobs like that. My dad worked. He got there because he busted his fucking ass. Like, people quit that company when they gave my dad that job because he was so new. Because they were like, well, he fucking outworks all of you by tenfold. Of course you're going to give him this job. People left the company that had been there for 20 years because they were like, fuck that. I'm not working for some newbie.
They're not going to let me loaf anymore.
Exactly, dude. My dad set a standard, and they fucking hired him, and like 3 or 4 people left the company because of that shit. And that's petty as shit and whatever. But like, you know, like that you it's hard to stop somebody who's on fire. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, people try to stop them all day long, but they're going to get back up and come even harder.
You're like, I'm just gonna learn from this, and it's gonna make me even more miserable to deal with the next time I come back. You know, I just I love that about people. The fact that some people can just take it and just keep swinging and coming back and being like, you know what, I'm not gonna let this stop me. And those are the types of people that I tend to gravitate to or be inspired by. It's like, this guy's not sitting around complaining about what happened to him. Is he accepting it? Is he talking about it? Absolutely he is. However, it doesn't define who he is as far as his ability to, you know, to thrive in this fucking world that we're in. And it's like, you know, I don't know. I think that's like the most inspiring thing that you could see. Somebody that does it their way and gets it their way, as opposed to somebody that, I don't know what they do, give hand jobs to get to where they get or whatever it is.
Tossing them out, man.
Yeah, I don't know. But Derek, I'm gonna let you go, man. I'm gonna go spend time with the family and have Thanksgiving dinner tomorrow. I hope you have a good one with your family, dude. I hope you're well, and I'm sure I'll be talking to you very soon. I'm sure I'll be getting some demented memes from you very soon.
Let me see 1 second. Watch your screen.
Got it.
Watch your screen, buddy.
I see a line cutting down. I'm not sure what's happening right now. This is my first stream.
Just subscribe to your channel.
I see that. Thank you. And it says it launched an emote firework in the channel, but I don't have that set up apparently. Later, man. Take care, buddy. All right, guys, that's a wrap on today's episode. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to follow and subscribe to the show on your podcast platform of choice to be notified of new episodes and leave a positive review if you dig what you're hearing. Guys, I would love to hear from you on social media. Let's get connected at DustyGrant57 on all platforms. All right, y'all, that's it for now. See you next time on DG and Friends.
Visit Hellsberg.com for safe and easy ways to shop this holiday, like free shipping and returns, virtual shopping appointments, or buy online and pick up in store. And right now, get a free Microsoft Surface Go 2 with the purchase of $1,499 or more. You gift, you get. Limited time offer while supplies last. See online or in store for details.
Ready for endless hot water? How about instant hot water at every faucet? Looking to go tankless? The ProSkill Services water heater experts are the highest rated plumbing crew in the Valley. ProSkill has over 4,000 five-star reviews. ProSkill operates with honesty and transparency, which is why all pricing is listed online. For an instant quote on your new tankless or traditional water heater, tap the screen now or visit ProSkillServices.com.
Turn quick stops for this and that into quick stops for cash back. With new Chase Freedom Flex, you'll earn 3% cash back at drugstores. Learn more at chasefreedom.com. Restrictions and limitations apply. Offer subject to change. Cards are issued by J.P. Morgan Chase Bank N.A., member FDIC.
Advanced security from Cox Panoramic Wi-Fi protects your connected devices from online threats 24/7. But hey, you're probably safe without it. Probably. Like how that free streaming website was probably not a scam. Someone's probably not stealing your bank info as we speak to buy a 4-story Chalet Grande. Yeah, you're probably fine. Or you could know your network is covered with advanced security from Cox Panoramic Wi-Fi. Restrictions apply. Copyright 2020 Cox Communications Inc. All rights reserved.